Hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to today's batch cooking, our first batch cooking of the 2 week challenge. Okay, so let's wait a few minutes until everyone comes in, and then we'll get started. We are live. Welcome to, and then we'll get started. Okay, great, wonderful. So people are coming in. Welcome, welcome. If you don't mind introducing yourselves, so I know you're there. And then we're going to start. So before I start cooking, I just want to get an idea: is anyone cooking with me, or is everyone watching? Hi, Jacqueline. Hi, Arifa. Hi, Janine. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jana. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Mary. Okay, so yeah, if you just give me a give me a yes or watching or something, so I know if anyone is cooking, so I have to reduce my speed.
And Jana said she's cooking.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw.
Okay. So if anyone has a question when it comes to while I cook, maybe you can make in a parentheses or something that you're cooking. If the question pertains to cooking, then I know, or Stacy knows that we need to answer that right away. Otherwise, we're going to keep the questions for a little bit later, so we can start the cooking process. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for letting me know. Excellent. Welcome everyone. Wow, it's quite a lot. Excellent. Wonderful. Good. So today I'm going to cook two dishes. I'm going to cook the white bean chili, and I'm going to cook the tomato lentil soup. I decided not to do three dishes because I don't want to overwhelm you. You know, it's the first time. Very often, you want to start slowly and then get stronger throughout the 2 weeks. So, yeah, I think almost everyone is watching, right?
Yep.
Actually, Mitchell,
Michelle's
no,
gonna cook after.
cook after. Okay.
Yeah. Karen's asking about the lentils.
Yes, yes, yes. Ounces, definitely. I think we had that issue before.
Yep.
Go with ounces. I'm using half a bag, and how much is in a bag? I think it's a pound. So I'm using half of it, which is 8 ounces. Okay, great. Okay, who here has a instant pot? Because I would like to, ideally, I'd like to cook the lentil soup in the instant pot. But if there's too many who don't have a instant pot, then I'll cook it in a pot. It doesn't matter. So just let me know. Yeah. Okay, great, great, excellent. Okay, you know what? I don't even have my lights on. Wow. Let there be light. Okay, so I want to give you an idea how quick you can cook two dishes, and just to give you an idea, I did not prepare much, just for you to see how long it's going to take. Obviously, I can cut a lot faster than you, but in the same token, if you get, the more practice you get, the faster you get. Um, you can also prep your onions, garlic, carrots, and celery and stuff like this the day before or maybe a few hours before. So it's, I just want to give you an idea how fast this could be. And, some people get a little worried, oh, this is going to take too long. But for that reason, I didn't do all this. So you can see how long it's going to take. Okay, great. Did you see how many people don't have an Instant Pot? Stacy?
A lot don't.
Okay, good.
3, 4, 5 don't.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the lentil soup in the Instant Pot, but in the saute feature, meaning it's just like a pot. Okay. So good. Okay, great. I'm going to start with the chili because I want to get everything off cooking, and then we'll start the lentil soup. Okay. So I'm going to switch my camera and see that my camera works. Ooh. Okay, look at all my mess here. See where the best camera. I think that's good. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn on my pan. Sorry for the noise, that's my onions. Again, we are going to cook without oil. So we're going to start to saute the onion first. And we'll add a little garlic. Now we want to make sure that we always have water on the side. So you can see that here. I want to make sure that my onions don't burn. But you can actually tell. You see, they're not burning. So this is the tricky part and also the easy part. You just want to make sure that the onions don't burn. And once they start to stick to the pan, that means they're starting to caramelize. So when this happens, we add a little bit of water to it, like this. Okay. Okay, so while the onions are cooking, I'm actually cutting my celery. Okay, I gotta watch my onions. You see now they're starting to stick again. Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Okay. It's starting to caramelize slightly, and again I add a little bit of water to it. There are some dishes where we don't want the caramelization, but in this case I want it because caramelization is flavor and color. Okay, so when you cook a white dish, for instance, potato leek soup, for instance, you don't want this caramelization process because that would turn the soup brown. You don't want this. But otherwise, the caramelization adds flavor. I want to show you what beautiful carrots I got here, because this is something you really want to, I don't know if you can tell. Can you see? Some beautiful carrots, beautiful carrots. So what I'm going to do is I don't even peel them. I just wash them because they are so fresh, and the skin is full of nutrients. So I don't want to take off all these nutrients. You see the caramelization here? Gets brown. This is what I want. This is flavor. Okay, now I'm going to cut my carrots here. And we are almost ready to put the next vegetables in. Next time I'll let you watch while I cut the vegetables. Okay, so now I'm putting in my carrots and my celery. Okay. So this is also called a mirepoix. The onions, the celery, I usually leek, but since I have onions in here, that's fine. And this is what gives this dish flavor. A mirepoix is always, if it cooked right, it gives the dish a fantastic flavor. I'm cutting my potatoes. Okay, so what can I use in place of tomato sauce paste? You can use crushed tomatoes, for instance. Oh, did you answer already, Stacy?
I did not, but I was working on writing it down. But that's good. You win.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to
No, no, you're
interrupt
fine.
you.
As long as you're able to, you're fine. Don't worry.
Um, white beans. I have a little bit of water. You can. So the next thing is going to be tomato paste. I think it's about 1.5 teaspoon, a tablespoon. I'm sorry. Okay, that should be about that. So what I want to do with the tomato paste, I want to make sure that the color goes from red to slightly brownish. I want to make sure that I am going to turn down the heat a little bit so I don't burn. Nothing. But I want my tomato paste to slightly brown a little bit. You know, tomato paste has a very sour taste, so to speak. So you want to cook it out, and you want to make sure that I don't want this red color left in here. I want it a little bit brownish. It will also intensify the tomato flavor, makes it sweeter. Okay, so now you cannot tell if it's burning or not because there's no sound, because all the water has evaporated. But if I see no sound and the fire is underneath, I know it's starting to burn. So I just want to make sure that I scrape all the residue here from the bottom of the pan, because that's flavor. This is my flavor. It goes right in here. I'm going to turn up my flame again. Okay, so the next thing is my white beans, potatoes, corn, sweet peppers, and my spices go in. I'm going to put in my potatoes. Unfortunately, I ordered purple potatoes, but as you can tell, they sent me
That's purple skin.
what?
That's the purple skin.
There's a purple skin, but it's not a purple potatoes. It's ridiculous. But what can I do? Now the order has come in, and nothing I can do about it. But Sometimes you have to really specify what you want, but I placed the order online, so I couldn't. Better to have some potatoes than instead of sending them back and have no potatoes. Okay, my peppers. My white beans. And I want to make sure that I stir everything, because you see it's starting to stick on the bottom. It's okay, but I want to make sure that I scrape it off. And I only give maybe a quarter cup of water at any given time. I just don't want to put too much in, because I don't want my vegetables to steam. I want them to saute. Okay. Okay. My corn. And I'm using frozen corn. You can use canned corn. Or if you have fresh corn, wherever you live, that's fine. If it's regional, that's fine. Okay. Good. Now we're going to add our spices. It's 1 tablespoon oregano, 1 teaspoon onion, two teaspoon cumin, and then we're going to have 2 tablespoons of chili. Tablespoon, not teaspoon. Okay. One. Welcome. Going to have 2. Looks like a lot, but it's going to. This is a chili, don't forget. So now I'm going to have my cup of water ready. If you like it spicy, you can add jalapeno peppers. You don't have to. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to add my water, but I want the spices to be exposed to the heat for about a minute or so, maybe 2. I don't want it to burn. You see on the side here, it's starting to crust, but I want to make sure that I'm going to loosen it up with my water. You can also use broth if you want, low sodium vegetable broth. See, you can actually smell the curry powder right now, and the cumin. It's beautiful. So this is what gives your dish the flavor. So it's very important that you treat those spices, that you expose them to heat. That will open up the flavor. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to deglaze it with some cup of water. And that's basically it. Now I'm going to add a little salt and pepper. But I like to cook with a little salt. You don't have to, absolutely not. And I'm using Himalayan salt. I prefer this. It's not as salty as all the other salts, and it's less contaminated. Even sea salt now, it's contaminated with plastics. So this seems to be the cleanest form of salt at this moment. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to let this simmer on low temperature for at least a half an hour. Okay, is it half an hour? 30 to 40 minutes. And in the meanwhile, remember, if you like it spicy, you add jalapeno peppers and whatever spice you want to add to it to make it spicy. For instance, you could use cayenne pepper. It's beautiful. You want to add a little, just a little, but you can add a lot more. Okay. Good. So now what we want to do is we want to cook. Obviously, we want to cook our potatoes in here until they're nice and cooked, not too soft. But this is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll see if the beans have developed this flavor what we want. Because especially when you cook beans over like 15, 20 minutes, they develop this starchy flavor. They flavor the sauce inside the dish beautifully. And when you combine this with spices we used, then the dish is gonna be complete. Okay, good. Any questions?
Yes.
Let me change the camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we have someone who actually gets ill from beans and lentils and even broccoli. So what could she use to replace?
So you cannot eat.
She gets actually sick, she said.
Okay. Okay. Well, then you have to use. Well, what about soy? Can you eat soy? That's if you cannot eat soy, then you have to go to quinoa. No, the calories are listed per serving.
Okay, thank you. You go ahead of me. Okay, good.
No. I just.
Yes, she can do soy.
She can. Okay, so then I would recommend tofu or edamame. So those two. You can also work with if you're not allergic. If you're not allergic, if you're not allergic to gluten, then you can have seitan, or you can even use tempeh, which is a soy product. That's actually pretty good with the chili. So, for instance, instead of using the beans in there, you use tempeh, which is pretty cool. And then you can add some edamame in there, and you have almost the same. I missed our adding all the
Yeah,
liquid.
it says I just saw that also. She says it said to add a quart of water. Karen, we're doing the white bean chili. I don't know what you're referring to.
You know what? No, okay. In the ingredients, it said 1/4 water, but then I'm deglazing it with 1 cup. Remember, I
Oh, let me see that.
I have been using this whole container with water. So every time I put a 1/4 cup in, it adds up. So the quarter of water or vegetable broth is just, as a, to have this ready, because you need it for this dish every minute or 2 minutes. You need to add a little bit of water to it, or broth. Okay. Um, so you don't have to put it all at once. That's not. You see, this is how I cook. I cook the dish in stages. Um, I do this because I'd like to add flavors to the dish. Okay. Um, I saute the onions, the garlic, the glazes water 1 or 2 times. Then I add the carrots and celery, the glaze again once or twice, and then I add the beans and the potatoes, the glaze it again, and then I add the tomato paste. Okay. So every step takes maybe just a minute or so, but okay. If you cook the white bean chili in the instant pot, how low? Okay, when you cook on high, you usually destroy all nutrients in there, but it cooks faster. I personally cook it on low, and I would cook it on um, slow cook. If you cook it on slow cook on high, that is perfect. So from that point of view, you keep all the nutrients, because you barely cook it. It's just a slight simmer. Okay.
He's also asking how long and how much liquid.
Say again.
In the Instapot, the same person is asking how long and how much liquid.
Oh, okay. I would add 1.5 cup of water or broth. I just did 1 cup, but add 1.5 cup, and then let it cook for 3 hours on high, on slow cook, and you have a really great chili after that. One tip: um, once you finish with the 3 hours, you need to crank up the heat in the instant pot. Put it to saute and let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Very important. That brings the whole dish together. Just 2 or 3 minutes. Stir it in between. Taste it for any flavors you need, and that's it. Okay. Good. So let me. I just want to show you the color of the curry. It's changing by the minute. I don't know. My curry here looks much darker than it is in the camera. You see it? The sauce is really brown now. Initially brown. I don't know if you can tell. Okay, and I'm going to add just a little bit more water to it. Because I'm going to let it cook a little bit longer. Okay. I'm going to put the heat to medium to low. I'm just going to want this dish to simmer. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so now we're going to tackle the lentil soup. So the chili is just going to simmer for the next 15 minutes, and then that's it. And we basically need very similar ingredients for the tomato lentil soup. So we're going to saute onion, garlic, then celery, carrots, A little ginger. Very similar, but we use smoked paprika. It's, to me, this is an incredible soup. Tastes delicious.
Like all your recipes.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you know, it's because there's so many lentil soups. Um, you know, depends how you cook it. Certain lentil soups are, you know, all the lentil soups are good, but I think this one is stands out from many other lentil soups. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna switch my camera again. I'm gonna put it in such a way that you can see my instant pot. And again, I'm using the instant pot the same way I would use the pot. High enough. Okay, for the same thing again. I'll watch my chili. But the same thing, I'm going to saute onions. And I did heat up the instant pot earlier. So it should be hot. Okay, onions go in, nice and hot. So this feature is the saute feature on the Instant Pot, and it's perfect for sauteing. Sometimes it's even too hot. If it's too hot, we're going to switch it to low. Okay, I'm going to add my garlic. And I have my water ready, as usual. So this Instant Pot is quite hot. Can you see?
Yes.
So this is basically the same way if you would have a pot on the stove. So there's no difference because I'm not going to close it. I'm going to cook it in an open Instant Pot. You know, for instance, if you sometimes I have 4 or 5 pots on the stove. You can use the Instant Pot as your additional pot, and you don't need a stove. So now I'm going to let the onions saute the same way I did it with the chili. I want to get some sort of caramelization in here. And while the onions are cooking, I'm cutting my celery. This is not really how I want you to cook. Absolutely not. I really want you to cook having everything prepped. Okay, so this is a rather bad example on how you should be cooking, but in the same token, I want to show you how quick you can cook as well. Because if you have everything ready cooked, it's a breeze to put everything together. I just want to make sure that my onions don't burn. I just want to make sure they caramelize nicely. And my chili is still nicely cooking, simmering. Sometimes I have to add a little bit of water to it if the water goes too low. So I want to maintain some sauce in the chili. So it's very important that you add water to it whenever you need it. Okay, that's good. Carrot going. Celery. Same process as with the chili. You could have done both to the same time, double it up, make it in a bigger pot, and then split and use one for the chili and one for the lentil soup. You could do it this way. That's how we cook in a restaurant. We cook in a batch, and then we split up. Whatever makes your life easier during batch cooking, there's no boundaries. Whatever works. Adding a little bit of water to it. Beautiful. So in a minute, we're going to add our lentils, our tomatoes. But before we do that, we want to make sure we expose our spices to the heat. And you see how easy it is. I mean, if you really don't have time, you could literally prep as you go. It's not how I like to cook, but you know, sometimes you can. Almost there. So we're going to add our ginger, coriander, cumin, and smoked paprika. I'm sorry. Smoked paprika is one of my favorites. It does magic to a dish. Yeah, there's only onions, carrots, garlic, celery in here, and it smells fantastic. Okay, we're going to add our lentils. Then we want to add our spices. 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. And a teaspoon of cumin. Okay. And I wasn't able to get fresh ginger, so I put a little bit of half a teaspoon. And I'm adding my coriander. So now I want to make sure I expose all the spices to the heat without burning it. You see, my spice is really burning up right now, and I smell the cumin and the smoked paprika, which is incredible. Then I'm going to add, first I'm going to add a cup of water, just to make sure everything is coming off the bottom of the pot. Then I'm going to let it boil one time, bring it to a boil. And once that happens, I'm going to add my beans and my tomatoes. Okay, I see you're not a big lentil girl, Erica. um, well, I would say give it a try because you will be pleasantly surprised. And now I'm going to add my tomato sauce, my crushed tomatoes, a cup, and a cup of butter beans or fava beans. And now I'm going to put about 3 to 4 cups of water. Now we'll just let it cook until we see the lentils are almost cooked. You want to make sure that we have enough liquid in there because after all, it's a soup. If you like salt, now it's the time to add a little bit of salt. Spices, if you like a little hot sauce, Tabasco, cayenne, that's fine. Bay leaves go in. And now we're going to let it cook. Obviously, this would take now about 35 to 40 minutes until the lentils are cooked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crank up the heat with the Instant Pot. So forget about it that I use the Instant Pot. I want you to see the end product, which is if I cook it on low pressure, it's going to be ready in 7-8 minutes. But again, if you cook on a stove, you would cook it for at least 30 to 40 minutes. Okay. Like this. Put it to pressure cook. Put it to 9 minutes and start. Okay. Here. Okay. Oops. Okay. Any questions?
Yep.
So far?
I do have some.
Okay.
Okay, so if somebody cannot have tomatoes, what's a replacement for tomatoes, tomato paste, anything tomato?
That's a good question. Tomatoes, oh my goodness. Peppers, can you have peppers?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I'm saying, Erica, let me know if you can have peppers.
Is it because it's a nightshade? Because then it's a whole lot of other vegetables you cannot have. But tomatoes itself, it's really hard to replace. No. Okay. I mean, you could actually add eggplant to it if you like. You just have to add more liquid to it. It gives a different flavor, but it makes it if you cook the eggplant long enough, it becomes mushy. But I would say peppers, red bell peppers, is a good way.
No, she said
Um,
you can't have peppers.
Say again?
You asked her if she can have peppers. She said no.
Oh, I
Right?
thought she's not allergic.
Oh, I don't know. Erica, verify.
Oh,
saying that she
okay.
gets
I'm sorry.
agita.
I thought she said she's not allergic to peppers. Okay.
Let's see if she answers.
So yeah, from that point of view, you really have to look at all the different vegetables we have available. I mean, right now during the winter time, there's really not much you have. The tomatoes, I added tomatoes to the lentil soup because it gives a unique flavor. Ogita? What is this?
Agita. Like nausea, like, it's agita, that's the word.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, no peppers.
Then probably no eggplant either. Um, See, it's hard to replace tomatoes. You can tomatoes are unique, and no, I don't. If you don't have a medical underlying condition, I'm sorry. Mm-mm. That's I'm not a doctor. I cannot give you any advice on that. But to me personally, you have heartburn because of other issues, not because of tomatoes.
She's saying
That's
eggplant she can eat.
yeah, good. Um, Tomatillos, yeah.
Yeah.
What about the Japanese? Uh, the orange looks like a tomato you had about 2 months ago, Stacy. What's it called?
Oh, yeah. And they were no good, and I had to throw them out. I know exactly what you're talking about.
What's it called? It's on my.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anybody check this out? Round orange, definitely looks like a tomato. Mine were really bad, and I had to throw them out. We had a whole conversation. I can't remember now.
Want to add a little bit more water to it.
Not sour sap. I don't know what that is.
Oh, you know what? I forgot my.
Persimmon, yes. Watch the persimmon.
Oh, persimmons, yeah.
Watch it remember. Yep, thank you. I'm like looking it up.
Yeah. So try if you can have those.
Awesome. Okay. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Absolutely, Erica.
Okay. Right.
Okay. What if we can't find or don't like fava beans? Can we use lima beans or what else?
Any other beans you like?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I recommend fava beans because they fit in this dish, but you can have you can substitute any kind of beans. So from that point of view, it doesn't really matter. I didn't put one bean over another bean, so it doesn't really matter from this point of view.
Okay. We also have someone who doesn't like the texture and taste of onions and or celery. And I did mention that we use onions a lot, but do you have any tips, tricks to make them taste better?
Okay, yeah, I mean,
The way we cook them, but yeah.
yeah, I know there's a few people who don't like onions, and I understand some of my friends don't like them either. But one solution is, well, obviously you leave them out, but if you cook them all the way down that they almost disintegrate, that's when you don't taste them anymore. Meaning, you don't
Feel them.
feel them anymore, but the flavor is definitely there. So the flavor is it's sweet. I'm not sure if you can still taste the onions out of it. Usually onions make a dish sweet. If you don't like that, then I would say leave the onions out and just go without. Just use garlic. That's fine too. But one more thing. Why don't you use shallots? Shallots is mild, and that might be a good way to use instead of onions. You're probably going to like shallots. You cut them very small, and then you add them into the dish.
Awesome. Okay. Somebody asked what you just added to the soup, and I missed it. So if you can just
It was potatoes. I forgot to put them in earlier. Yeah.
And then I have some questions not really related to the recipes. I don't know if you want to start those now.
Yeah, everything is cooking right now, so
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. Someone asked if the taste would be different cooking in an Instant Pot versus a regular pot on the stove. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
No, there's no difference.
Okay.
Um, well, of course, it depends how you cook it. If you pressure cook it versus um, slow cook versus regular cook and on a stove, yes, there are absolutely differences in flavor. That's for sure, 100%. But I would say when you use the pressure cook and a slow cook, you you probably get a better flavor out of it than if you cook it on a stove, because simply you cook it with a lid on, and you cook it the slow cook, you cook for a long period of time, but it's still sort of concentrated, and you develop those flavors. It's different than if you pressure cook it. Pressure cook obviously cooks in 8 9 minutes, and but it still tastes good. So there are slight differences, I would say, compared to cook on the stove. But hey, um, I would say practice and see what you prefer. I can only tell you, in a restaurant, we never cook in an instant pot or in a pressure cook, ever, never, because we cook in big pots, and but we have our techniques what we use in order to get the best flavor in it. That's why I cook in layers, so I add in stages, so I add layers of flavor to it, and then I'm going to cook it for 30 minutes or whatever amount of time, so which actually comes down to the same kind of flavor.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, if we want to put something in the oven and we used to use oil, what's the best way to, like, if we're roasting vegetables or whatever, what's the right way to?
Okay, I mean, you can use the spray if you want, just oil spray, not the one you get in the can. Just get your favorite oil and put it in a spray can if you have to use it. If you don't want that something burns. But I personally use silicone mats. For instance, if you want to do roasted potatoes, for instance, you want to steam your potatoes for just a minute or two, and then you put them, you mix them with all the spices you want after you steam them, season them, and then put them on the tray and put them in a 350, 375 degree, maybe even 400-degree oven, and roast your potatoes or vegetable. It's always good to steam them just a minute. So that makes them moist, and they're not going to dry out, but they're also usually not going to stick to the uh, to the pan. But you have to use a silicone mat. That's or parchment paper.
Okay. What if, once, I know we've asked this already, but let's go over it again. Not finding organic lemons for the lemon water.
Okay, absolutely.
A lot of people ask me about that.
Okay, so wait. The question was what?
I'm sorry. Not finding or able to get organic lemons
Okay.
in water.
Okay. Okay. What you could do is you could peel the lemons with a peeler, even though we don't want this, but you don't want the pesticides in there. And then you still use the entire lemon. You cut it up in pieces and put it into the blender. So you just peel off the yellow skin, but put everything else in, because the white of the lemon is still very nutritious. But again, um, you don't want the pesticides on the skin in your juice.
Mhm.
It's okay if you do it once or twice, but if you do it on a regular basis, you build up too many toxins in your body, and you don't want that. It's the same fact if you would smoke, and the one cigarette doesn't do anything, but over a long time.
Don't smoke. Okay.
Nope. Yep.
Don't smoke.
No.
I only have one more question, and that was the pot that you made the chili in was a very cool pot, and some of us were interested in what it was. You put it in.
You know what? This is my least favorite pot.
Is it really? That, of course.
No, the pan is my least
Yeah.
favorite pot. Um, it is actually a pot I bought in a store. Yeah, it was like what kind of store was it? Something like it was not a sophisticated high-end store. It was rather a low-end store, and I said I need something for here, and so that's why I bought it because I have all my other pots
Yeah.
which I usually use, but I don't have them on me.
Yep. Okay.
I can look at it. I don't know what the brand is.
Well, don't flip it over now. That's
I
all.
know. I know.
It looks a lot like the stone ones that I have, but the handle on yours is definitely better. That's why I was curious.
Oh, okay. Okay, my chili should be ready. Actually, you know what?
We do have one more question that just came in.
You know what? I actually forgot the baby spinach, but that we're going to put in after the lentil soup is cooked. And then we have parsley as well. Okay. One second, I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Nope, that's fine. Okay, what did you say?
Someone just asked one more question. Is there anything non-acidic to use instead of lemon if you have a Hialeah hernia? And I probably said that wrong. Hialeah hernia?
Usually, I cannot really give you advice on that. You see, the funny thing is, lemons are on the pH level are not acidic. They're actually the other way around. I call it. Say again?
Alkaline.
Yeah, they're not acidic, but I understand if that's what triggers any symptoms, then usually we have apple cider vinegar, but you just put a little teaspoon or 2 teaspoons in your water. That is fine too. See if you can tolerate this. Okay.
I do have one more. Have you mentioned intermittent fasting to explain that to everyone?
I think I didn't, right?
I don't
That's
know if you did, but someone had a question about it on YouTube, and it might be a good idea to just quickly go over
absolutely.
the
Yep.
time and all that.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Let me just see what my. Okay. Okay, my chili is ready. Okay. And my lentil soup is ready too. Excellent. Okay, intermittent fasting. I use intermittent fasting in our meal plans um, intermittently, meaning I use it 1 week 3 times, then 2 times, then 1 time, and I never keep it the same way because I don't want your body to get used to it. Our bodies are, they are very comfortable when it comes to, the same meals, the same thing over and over. Then you're not going to have any effects on your body. So you want to make sure that when you do your intermittent fasting, you do it in such a way that your body is surprised the next day. For instance, if you did it 1 week, you did it 3 times, then the next week you want to do it 2 times or only 1 time. So your body needs to adjust again, and that's what we want. The same way I offer every week different kind of foods for that reason. Sometimes I don't give you, let's say, no brown rice, and then 1 week I give you more brown rice, or 1 week I give you only beans, and then 1 week I give you less beans or completely different vegetables. That is just to really, bring your body in motion and say, what's going on here? And your body needs to adjust to those foods. But that's when you thrive, or your body usually thrives on that. Usually, intermittent fasting, there are different kind of, types. You can do 16-8, meaning 16 hours you fast and 8 hours you eat. That doesn't mean you have to eat until you're full and eat, have your first meal the first hour, and then have your second meal maybe 3 hours in, and then your third meal about 6-7 hours in, and you can snack in between. You can also do your first meal the first hour and your last meal last hour, and then in between you have a lunch. But then between the first and the third hour you have a fruit. But usually you cannot eat that much. Within 8 hours, it's very hard to eat so much food because our food has a lot of fibers. So you're not going to be able to digest your food in time for your next meal. Very often I hear that people only eat 2 meals during intermittent fasting because they just can't eat more. And that's fine. As long as you feel good and you don't have any issues, that's fine. So it's very important that you listen to your body and eat accordingly. Then there's other techniques. For instance, you can do there are other techniques where you actually count calories, where for instance you would eat 500 calories for breakfast and you have breakfast and then you don't eat until you have dinner again. So I don't like this method. Then there are methods like where you go for 2 or 3 days without eating, only water. I don't like that because those things should be supervised. You can also do a 12-12 or 14-12, 14-10, I mean. So it's really up to you how many hours you want to starve yourself. The reason why you starve yourself is not because you're mean to your body. No, actually, it's because you give your body the time to recuperate. Meaning, our bodies can actually repair itself during those fasting times. Meaning, for instance, that's why we all get sleep. Some people say, "Oh, I only need 4 or 5 hours of sleep." That's fine, but the problem is you only give your body 4 hours or 5 hours, whatever it is, to recuperate from the stress you had the day before. So the more hours you sleep, the better your body can recuperate and wash out toxins and stuff like this. So it's very important that you give your body the rest. Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else have any other questions?
Okay, so let me just look after my chili. Oh, I'm sorry, my lentil soup. Okay. So again, every time I cook in my Instant Pot, I'm going to let it cook for about 2 or 3 minutes. Which brings it together. Just going to switch the camera. Okay. You see, everything is completely cooked. But the problem is when you pressure cook, all your food is literally falling apart, so to speak. So you have to, yes, you could cook it a little less, but still the pressure is so strong in here, it literally breaks everything apart, and that's the part I don't like with pressure cooking. So I rather prefer slow cooking, and your food looks completely different, but it tastes very, very good. So this is the time to taste. Okay, cool. That's it actually. I could add a little bit of water, let it. Every time I add water, you want to cook it for another 4 to 5 minutes because you're actually taking away the flavor. So you want to make sure you cook it again, retaste it again, and then it should be good. Okay. Takeout's ready. Okay, I like that.
I was hoping you were going to do that. You want to
How
answer a
will
question
it
from
look?
Greg?
Say again?
You want to answer a question from Greg?
Pardon me?
You want to answer a question?
Yeah.
Greg is asking about intermittent fasting. Do we also switch up our starchy carbs?
No.
Okay.
No. No. You just you do, you follow the meal plan, or you follow whatever recipe you find. This has nothing to do with switching up any foods. You can do it on a weekly basis. You can switch up foods, but you don't have to.
Jackie.
Okay. Okay, wait. I just want to show you how the lentil soup looks. Before I forget, before I show you the dishes, this is good. I just wanted to mention the group coaching. If anyone is interested in the group coaching, please, join soon because they usually sell out. And I'm just not only saying this, but if if you're interested in this lifestyle, if I'm talking, what I mean in this, whole food plant-based lifestyle, and you want to lose weight and feel better than ever before, then I definitely would recommend the group coaching. That's you can ask around. There's plenty of members here who are in the group coaching. I think almost everyone is in here.
Yep.
And what I realized is that 90% of all the people who did the group coaching lost an enormous amount of weight, feel better or felt better than ever before. But this is, you see, this is not just, you go to 1, 2, or 3 lessons or sessions. This is a progress. I realize this now after doing quite a few coaching sessions now. The more often you come to the session, the more you get out of it. And it's, you really have to, you should really check with your members, and then think about it if you want. It's not just that I want to sell you something. I want to help you, but I can only do this in a close circle, so to speak. It's only up to 10 people in a group, and I'm not going to accept more than 10. So from that point of view, everyone gets a chance to, gets his view, gets his, talk with me. And the way I do it, usually, I ask everyone in a group how they're doing, what kind of issues they had, and what kind of successes they had, and we'll talk about it. And there's really no secret, so to speak. Everyone is in the same boat. Everyone wants to achieve the same, so no one is holding back. And sometimes, you have a tough time. It's the best way to get through this is in a group like that. And I cannot tell you how much fantastic successes I had in there. Even if you don't admit it to yourself, but you're trying to, let's say you're trying to lose weight and you can't, or you have done it 1,000 times. If you're in a group that is so tight, they will support you. And what I realize is most of those members who did the group coaching became best friends. It's just unbelievable. But don't take my word for it. Just, I'm sure people will confirm this. So I just wanted to let you know, this is dear to my heart. I'm here to help, but I can do it best in a closed circle. So, and every week I'm with you, and very often I know I said it's 45 to 60 minutes, but usually I never stick to it. It's usually longer than that. And we go through every problem, and once every issue is solved throughout the hour, that's when I stop. And I usually have a topic every week, and the topic range from whole food plant-based to meditation to there's a lot of different topics, but they all lead to each other. Each lead to one goal: to lose weight and feel better. I could tell you all day about it, but you have it's a process. So I'm going to prep you from the first hour, and then it goes to the second, third, and fourth, and it's a process. And usually by the 7th or 8th coaching session, you have an awakening. You have bang, and you realize, I got it now. And that's what I realized with many of the other members. I'm sorry, I just read a comment here and I got thrown off. But it's definitely, I would definitely recommend. Okay, good. So let's go to the soup. Wanted to show you the soup. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you can tell. This is the lentil soup.
Don't spill it. Be careful. You're
I know.
on the edge. Be careful.
I have my computer right there. I put it to the other camera, maybe. Okay, so this is how the soup looks. You can make it more liquid if you want, but you can tell there's a lot of goodies in there, and it's going to fill you up. Okay, and we have our curry, which is, our chili, which is actually a little bit dry now. This is our chili. It should be a little bit more liquid, and I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. But you can eat this with sautéed greens, like spinach. I'm not sure what I put in the menu plan, but you should eat it with a little bit of green vegetables. And if you want with the chili, you can eat rice or let me switch my camera. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any. I'm answering a lot, so we're good.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot to tell you. Of course, members get 40% off, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually 400, and it's for non-members, and for members, it's 40% off, so it's 240. Yeah. If you compare this, for instance, um, there are many groups where they allow 10 people in, but usually the group per coaching session is $100, even if it's a group coaching. So with two or three group coachings on other groups, you have paid the entire 10 sessions.
Yep.
Yeah. You can check around. There's a lot of groups out there where they offer group coaching. Some of my competitors charge $1,000, and I don't do this. Okay, great,
I agree,
excellent.
Beth. I agree with Beth.
Yeah.
It looks
Okay,
like
great.
somebody's rumbling.
Yes, for Saturday, for the I think it called cheat day, but I don't want you to cheat with a 16-ounce steak. Okay, if you have to have something animal foods, have a small portion. Okay, have a very small 4 ounce or something, but try to avoid it. Have if you want, let's say if you want burgers, have a plant-based burger. I would recommend the Beyond Burger. If you want this, that's fine. That's a cheat day, so to speak. If you want a breakfast, you can have your pancakes. That's fine, or you can have a tofu. And for dinner, whatever your heart desires. I just want you to be mindful of when it comes to that cheat day. So don't. If you go all the way in, you're not going to lose as much weight. So I would recommend have the same breakfast. I mean, you can have the pancakes, but then have all the other dishes similar to what you ate during the week, or have one cheat dish, but all the other two dishes, similar to the recipes you had in um, during the week. Okay, and it's a learning phase. So this week, it's your discovery week, so to speak. For some people, it's nothing new, but for a lot of you, everything is new. So this week will be a discovery period, and enjoy it. Don't go crazy. Just go slowly. If you cannot cook 2 meals, cook one meal. That's fine, and then cook another day. I use maple syrup or agave, I believe, but I usually don't use syrup. Period. I think the picture I made was with maple syrup, but I personally don't use it because if you use berries, frozen berries, they're sweet enough on your pancakes.
And then you don't
Yeah.
need any syrup.
Hmm?
And then you don't use any syrup.
No. Yep. Correct. Because again, I didn't mention this earlier. We don't cook with oil because oil has about 150 calories per tablespoon. So if you cook 3 times a day, you already saved 450 calories. And very often we cook with a lot more oil. That's why we don't count calories. And the same way, if you don't eat sugar, then you cut down a lot of calories. Okay. Okay. I know I kept you long enough, I think. If there's any questions, just post them in a group, or and we'll answer them. You can also email me.
Or messenger me.
Say again?
Or messenger on to me.
Messenger, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Good. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it.
Chef,
Again,
before you stop, what's the next live thing?
it's Wednesday at 8 p.m., I believe. It's a
Yeah.
Q&A.
Yep.
It's in our calendar.
Just want to make sure I
And
know.
so because we have tomorrow's, I believe, is the last day. Is it the last day for the coaching? Maybe it's next week Monday.
I
Yes,
remember
next
that.
week Monday. Yeah. But the new coaching for Tuesday starts this Tuesday. So this is your opportunity to get in and get coached during the challenge. It's priceless. And beside that, the coaching goes into the next challenge in April. So that means you actually get two challenges in your coaching, which is, to me, it's priceless. So I coach you through two challenges, and that's a double whammy. Okay, good.
Okay. Do you want to explain quickly to Melanie how to use Messenger, or do you want me to? Just instead of
How to use Messenger?
Yeah, she's asking how to use it.
Okay. Well, it's on the right hand side, no, on top on
When you
Facebook.
go to Facebook, Melanie, go to whoever's page. Like if you're trying to messenger, let's say me or Chef, you go to that page and there's a link to a button to a link that says message, and it's got a circle and a little wiggly. It's actually on top of Facebook next to your notification is the same symbol. And if you click that, you can send the person a messenger message.
Yeah.
If someone is messaging you that you don't know or not friends with yet, it'll show up in the message requests. So you have to go into Messenger and into the message request to get them, to see them. Sorry. And yes, Greg has a good point. Tomorrow is weigh-in day, everybody.
Very good.
Not forget.
Right.
Don't be shy. We are all in this together. Trust me.
Thank you. Absolutely.
There'll
So
be a post in the morning. Please post on that thread.
yes, the more people post, the more motivating it is for everyone. Okay. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you post it late or, if you get up late, that's fine. But, get way in before your breakfast. Okay. I would say, if there's no other questions, thank you so much. I'll see you throughout the week. I might pop in maybe briefly for 10 minutes, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, just in case there are a few questions. But I will definitely be live Wednesday, 8 p.m. And then, of course, Thursday for our public live stream. Okay. Thank you so much. And have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Remember, start slow, then become steady, and finish strong.
Yes.
Good.
Y'all got
Okay.
this. Y'all got this.
Yep. Okay. Have a good night, everyone. Don't forget to sign up for the coaching, or it's going to be gone. Thank you.